Hi, I'm Keith Cruikshank. In this video series, we visit with master artisan Patrick Edwards, an expert in historical woodworking techniques and tools. For more videos in this series and more video treks on the art and craft of wood, visit woodtreks.com. And thanks for watching.
In Europe, animal protein glue was sold as a solid sheet. This glue is made by cooking animal protein elements like bone and sinew for a long period of time, and it produces a protein collagen which is amazingly effective not only in mechanical adhesion but in molecular bonding to itself, and that's what makes this glue superior to a catalyzed synthetic glue. This is how you would buy the glue in Europe for hundreds of years. And you would take this glue and break this up with a hammer into pieces, soak those pieces overnight in cold water, and then put it in your glue pot. In America, the Milligan and Higgins Company is producing the glue in a granulated form. This is what it looks like. This is hide glue in a granulated product. Protein glues are measured by something called a Bloom gelometer. When the glue is set, it has a jello surface. And you push this plunger into the surface and you measure the force of the pressure with this tool, and that tells you the gram strength of the glue. Now, the gram strength of the glue is important for woodworkers because it ranges from as low as 50 grams to push it in a certain distance to as high as 500 grams, which is very strong. If you have a lower range glue, something like 135 grams, then you can actually produce glue chip glass. This is an old-fashioned stained glass type of glass. To give you an idea of the strength of the glue, if you put 135 gram strength glue on a plain piece of glass, when the glue dries, it shears off the surface of the glass, producing this glue chip variety. That's how strong the glue is. It'll tear off the surface of the glass. If you go higher, then you get up to what we use in woodworking, which is 192, 221, 251. Those are the glues that people choose for normal woodworking. I choose 192 gram strength. If you go higher, it sets quicker and it's brittle. If you go lower, it sets slower and it's flexible. And for general woodworking purposes, 192 gram strength is really the best to use. Now, there's other types of protein glues. You can have rabbit skin glue. This is used in gilding and gesso repair for gold leaf frames. It's diluted quite a bit, 16:1. It's very thin glue and not very strong, certainly not for woodworking. And you can have horsehide glue. You can have a mixture of bone and hide glue to get the features of both the bone and the hide glue. You can have just bone glue, which comes in a pearl form sometimes. There's another type of glue, which is a fish glue. This is in French. It's colle de poisson. Fish glue is liquid glue, and fish glue is used for specific purposes. Like in marquetry, you might have tortoiseshell or ivory or bone or mother of pearl or shark skin or some other kind of exotic materials. You have oftentimes a different coefficient of expansion between these exotic materials on the surface and the wood, say metal on the top and wood on the bottom. They expand and contract at different rates. And if you don't have a glue that allows for some shear slippage and still be adhered, then you have a failure. These are all different choices, and if you went into a shop in Europe and you asked for a protein glue, there would be many, many choices. And you would have to tell him what purpose you're going to use the glue for and what strength you want. Those are educated buyers. In America, it's typical that most buyers don't even know about protein glues in general, and so they don't know what to ask. Now, when you're going to make the glue, What you do is you put the glue into a container, and you don't measure it, but you add cold water to cover it. That's all you do. And you can see the water disappearing as the glue absorbs the water. One of the tests of the glue for quality is that the dry glue will absorb cold water very quickly and absorb quite a bit of water. See, this is already absorbing the water and it's becoming a gel. That's a good strength of glue, a good quality glue, and there's no more water on the surface. It's now a gel. Very quickly, that took less than a minute. Once I have it hydrated, I can put it directly into the glue pot and bring it up to temperature. This allows me to add glue during the day as I use it up. It blends right in. Of course, I may have to add more water to adjust this viscosity again. This is a continual adjustment of the glue as I work with it. It's kind of like you make oatmeal, and when you make oatmeal, you add some oatmeal and you add some water. Don't read the directions, don't measure it out, just put in oatmeal and water. And if it's too thick, you need more water. If it's too thin, you need more oatmeal. It's pretty simple. This is what your grandfather or great-grandfather would have used if you're in Europe. This is what they're still using. It's a typical cast iron glue pot. I use a little plastic lid to keep the water from evaporating, and this is just sitting on there. A lot of people aren't used to using double boilers, but the way a double boiler works is that you have to have kind of a pressure seal from the inside and the outside, so it builds up a pressure inside to heat the glue. If you just have this sitting in an open vessel, it's not going to create the temperature that you need. So a double boiler like this is often found on eBay or in antique shops. You cook it on a hot plate. I normally put a meat thermometer in here, which tells me the temperature. Right now it's at the top of the range, 180 degrees. It should be between 180 and 140 degrees all day long. One of the myths about glue that you read about is that you don't want to cook it all the time or it goes bad quickly. Those are myths. It should smell pleasant, it should smell edible, it should smell fresh, and that's something that good glue is a good indicator of glue. It's a subjective indicator. Another indicator is the color. The glue itself, the darker the color, the stronger the glue, in my opinion. And that's because as it cooks, it condenses the protein. So this is a nice dark color. Then you have the viscosity. Now, most people that cook glue, they have it too thick. And the water is what carries the heat. I'm going to stir it up pretty good. What I'm looking for here is that it runs down like thin syrup about a foot before it turns into droplets. This tells me as the glue cools, as it drips off the brush, it congeals into a gel, and that's about the right viscosity. That's a good way to subjectively measure the viscosity. This is done practically all day long. We add water and we cook it, and we add water and we cook it. It's a continual process that you learn to live with the glue and work with the glue. So this is the consistency of the glue that I'm ready to use. Quite thin. And there's another test for the glue, which is the strength test. You put some glue on your fingers and you wait for it to cool down. What we're looking for here when it cools from 150 degrees down to 98 degrees is that it will form protein chains. These chains will tell you by the strength of the tackiness and the length of the protein how strong that glue is. And it takes a few minutes for this to cool down. So I do this about once a week. I test the glue to make sure that it's still performing well. This is an example of one of the protein chains on this drippy glue brush here. This is a nice long molecule of protein, and that's what we're looking for here when it becomes cool enough as it sets. See, those are 5 inches long, because we're talking about very thin spider webs. And those spider webs are the protein molecules pulling apart, that kind of spider web is telling me the glue is working. That's all you get, because now it's stuck. So that's another subjective test, the spider web thing. The cool thing about this glue is you just use warm water to clean it off your skin. It's perfectly clean, cleans up nicely, and you don't have any toxic exposure to some glue. I strongly suggest to people that are new to using protein glues that they go and they get some glue and they just start gluing things together and learn from their own experience, like I did.